Noticing your sit bones, noticing the dominant sit bone, allowing your weight to start to move towards the non-dominant sit bone. Taking our seat is the most important. Probably would be considered the most important part of our practice, how we start our practice. Learning to tune our awareness into the more subtle aspects of our experience. So as you're allowing your weight to evenly distribute between the sit bones, notice what's happening in your low back. Feel your spine moving out of the center of your pelvis. And then relax your low back muscles, your mid back, and your upper back. Checking in with your face. Relax your forehead, your eyes, your ears, your jaw. Relax your tongue, relax your throat. And then allow your abdomen to soften. I don't know what I was just saying. And feel your breath start to expand. And as you're noticing your breath, tuning into the feeling of your ribs moving out in all four directions. We want to move our breath towards a soft, steady, rhythmic flow through the nostrils. And then we'll begin our practice. Reach your right arm straight out, flex the hand so that the palm is facing out away from your body. So fingers straight up. Now take your left hand up and to the right ear, start to gently pull the head towards the left shoulder and then drop down through the right shoulder. The tendency could be the shoulder starts following the head. Push out like you're trying to close the door. So you're really pushing with some effort. And then let's switch sides. So left hand straight out, flexing through the palm, fingers are up. And then we'll reach over with the right hand, gently pulling the head. Keep pushing through the left palm like you're trying to close the door. And then very gently release. Now drop your chin forward. Lift the head, drop the head back, keep your mouth open, and push your chin up towards the ceiling. And then one more. Drop the head forward, chin towards the chest. Lifting up, drop your head back, mouth open, push your chin towards the ceiling. And then release. Hi, buddy. Take your right hand out to the side now. Left arm up, just straight up. Reach out through all 10 fingertips. Press to the left sit bone. And then start to shift so that the left shoulder moves back, right shoulder slightly forward. Pull your belly in. Now we'll come up over to the opposite side. Start to shift the shoulders. Right shoulder a little back, left shoulder a little forward, belly's in. Reaching through all 10 fingers. And then coming center. Inhale, both arms straight up. Reach up, keep your fingers wide. And then float your hands down. We'll do a couple more of these. Inhale, arms up. Pull the belly. Pull your spine with your hands. Float the hands down. And again, up. and down. Become aware, maybe closing your eyes, of the space that you're moving your fingers through. And then release your hands next to your side. Sweep your right arm up, back. Bring the hand as close to the hip as possible. Left arm comes up and across. Look over the right shoulder. And then center. Now left arm up, back. Hand as close to the hip as possible. Right arm up and across. Twist. Look over the left shoulder. And then coming around into tabletop. Moving through cat-cow. Making a wave with your spine, closing your eyes, synchronizing your breath to the movement. Your neutral spine, curl your toes under and find a downward facing dog with your knees bent, heels pointing straight up if possible. And then we're pushing back to the hips. Glue your palm to the floor. Let the belly start to pull in towards the spine and only reach your right heel back. Doesn't matter if it touches the floor. Coming up, left heel reaches back. And keep pedaling the feet like this. Belly stays in. Maybe looking at your feet. Notice if you're dropping your weight to one side. Keep the weight evenly distributed between the inner and outer foot. And then maybe reach both heels back, even if they don't touch the floor. Now step your right foot forward, left foot forward, or take a few steps to get up. Bringing the toes together. We're going to halfway lift, bend the knees, hands to the hips, rise up. Coming into standing, we're going to glue the feet together. Hands next to your side, inhale the right arm straight up. Start to tip to the left. Here we want to think about hips and shoulders staying squared to the edge of the mat. And we want to think about the reach straight arm, pressing to the inner edges of both feet. And then if we're squaring the shoulders and the hips, we want the head to be back. So if I have a really bad tendency with this, start pushing my head forward. I think it's neck. So we want our head back here. Notice where your tendency is. Now come up and switch sides. Long arm to make sure we're getting all the way down the side body. And we want to square the shoulders, square the hips. We want the ear back next to the bicep. And then coming up, interlace the hands, palms up, keep the shoulders down. Now tip to the right. Extend up and out through both wrists. So we're pulling both sides of the waist here. Pressing to the inner edges of the feet, deepen the breath. And then up over. Center release. Now step the feet wider, maybe about hip distance. Grab your elbows, bring the arms above your head. We want to push the elbows out into the hands, bend the knees and start to forward fold. As you're folding forward, pull the belly and pull your arms. So we're pushing the elbows out and we're pulling the arms forward as much as we can, or pushing the arms maybe. Belly's in. And come down until you start to feel the mid-back release. We want to keep the arms as close to the ears as possible on that line. So maybe like a 45-degree angle. Keep pulling the arms forward. And then release, halfway lift, hands to your hips, rise up. Now here, we want to keep the feet wider than the hips. And we're going to work on our back bend without bending our back. So maybe your feet are on the edges of your mat. We're going to start by tucking the tailbone, pushing the hips forward. I'm wearing black, so it makes it pretty hard to see. So we're pushing the hips forward. We're going to bend the knees as much as we can. And we want a really straight line. Maybe arms come up to a prayer above the head. And we want to keep the ears in alignment with the bicep. You should be shaking on your exhale. Keep pushing the hips forward. You're coming up, hands to your hips, let's fold forward. Grab your ankles, pull the belly. We're pulling the head towards the floor. Halfway lift, hands to your hips. Coming up, we'll do it one more time. So tuck the tailbone, push your hips forward, start to bend your knees. Hands in prayer, ears in alignment with the biceps. You want to be shaking on your exhale. Hands to your heart, coming up. Hands to the hips, fold forward, grab the legs, pull your head towards the floor. Halfway lift, hands to the hips, rising up. So the thing about back bending, then I like this so much more than what I thought back bending was. Back bending is the thoracic opening. So we are thinking about only the thoracic opening. Then we don't have to put any strain on the low spine. So with a back bend, the low back is never the point, which I never knew that. So if we're always going into a tailbone tuck and pushing the hips forward on a back bend, and then we're opening the shoulders up, that's our back bend. As we gain more mobility in the thoracic and our hip flexors, then we start to find the back bend. So what starts to look like your low back is arching is a slight curve, but there's no pressure on the low spine, and that's so important. So that is something I just barely learned this year. Okay, come into wide-legged squat. Balasana, and take a couple of breaths here. Start to open up the hips. And then if it's comfortable, reach your hands forward, resting on your fingertips. You're crawling your fingers forward and you're pushing back at the same time in the shoulders. If you feel really open, you start working your elbows towards the floor here. And then take your right arm out to the side, reach as far as possible. Left hand can just press onto the left thigh, and you can gently push. Doesn't require a lot of effort to get into a really big side stretch here. Keep breathing. And then center, right arm out. Now gently press into the right thigh. And then hands in prayer. We're gonna do a squat. So we want to take our elbows out away, pick up the hips 90 degrees. So we want our spine as close to being parallel to the floor as possible. Deepen the breath. The burn in the quads is real here. Just two more breaths. You can totally do it. It's really hard, but you've got it. And then come back to Malasana, which is not really a resting pose, but it's keeping the heat where we want it. So give your body just a moment and it'll settle. Now come to the floor in a seated pose, knees up, hug your knees in, and let's warm up the low spine and the core, coming into a modified boat. So pick up your feet off the floor here, cross the ankles. The goal of this modification is to keep the knees together. When the knees are together, we're engaging Mula Bandha. So Mula Bandha is the lower pelvic floor. We can't actually overexert that muscle group in this position, but we don't want to lose the connectivity there. So knees together means the inner thighs are working, which means we're getting into Mula Bandha. Now we're pulling the belly in, extend your arms forward. Try to keep your chest and knees as close to each other as possible, and the knees are glued together. That's the most important part. Release, sit up tall. One last. Pick up your feet, crossing the ankles. Extend your arms forward. Glue the knees together, pull the belly in. And your breath. And then release. Extend the legs forward, maintaining a bend in the knees. Hands come up, get rid of your low back arch. So pull the belly. Try to remove the low back arch completely. It's like you're gonna try to tuck your tailbone. Toes are pressing forward. Now hinge forward, grab the feet or the ankles, and maintain a bend in the knee. Pull the chest forward. Pull your belly in towards the spine. And then hands come up again, pull the belly, get rid of your low back arch. And then release the hands down, extend the legs. There can still be a little bit of a bend if you need to protect the low spine. Take your right leg in to the chest. Sweep your right hand back. Take the left arm up and across. Come into your twist. Look over the shoulder, belly's in. Center, extend the leg forward. Left foot comes in. Circle the left arm back, right arm up and across. Flexing the right foot, look over the left shoulder. Center. Cross your legs. Come forward into tabletop. And then keep your toes curled under and then come to stand on your knees. So our last back bend effort, we're gonna bring our low hands to the back. The thumbs are towards the spine, fingers are on your waist. Same thing we were doing from standing, we're gonna do here. So tuck your tailbone, push your hips forward, pull the belly, start to lean back. You're pushing your hands gently into the spine. So we're only doing that to open the chest, so press your elbows straight back, trying to get them as far back as possible. Keep tucking your tailbone and pushing the hips forward. If this is too much for your knee, you can pause and roll your mat or put a pillow under the knees. Use a cushion. And then coming up, sit back to the heels, bring your knees wide, crawl your fingers forward for a wide-legged child's pose. Really crawl the fingers here, pushing back in the hips. Coming back up, one last camel pose. So curl your toes under, hands are to the waist. Tuck your tailbone, push the hips forward, point your elbows straight back. And then start to lean back as much as possible. Keep pushing the hips forward. If you want, if it's easy for you, you can bring your hands to your heels. That's totally optional. If you are bringing your hands down, you're not moving any other part of your body. Keep tucking the tailbone, pushing the tailbone forward. And then coming up, bring your knees wide, wide like a child's pose. Crawl your fingertips forward. And then coming forward onto your belly. We'll do a couple of little back bends here just to stay with what we've been working on. And the thing about back bends are these low back muscles have a lot to do with our hips. So when we really warmed up the low back, we can start to get into the hips and effectively the knees in a new way. So forehead's on the floor. Bring your toes together if possible. We're going to tuck the tailbone, interlace your hands behind your back. Push your tailbone like you're trying to tuck your tailbone with as much effort as possible as you lift the chin and chest. Maybe float your arms. But keep the tailbone tuck. Notice if it feels even. Are you pressing both hips towards the floor evenly? We want to find that evenness. Now lower down. And bring your hands right next to your chest. Fingers are out to the side, thumbs are pointing forward towards the short edge of your mat, and the elbows are pressing towards each other. We're going to lift into Bhujangasana. So for Cobra pose, again, we're tucking the tailbone, feet can come wide. Bring your feet about hip distance or even mat distance apart. Tuck the tailbone, and we just lift just enough that we're barely using our arms. Keep tucking the tailbone. Focus the weight to the tailbone, like to the hips, to the thighs. Like you're lifting from your glutes, if that makes sense. And then we'll lower. Take a breath. We're going to do one more. One more deep breath. Now really tuck your tailbone, lift without using all the effort of your arms. Arms are like 30%. Keep tucking the tailbone. So if you need to lower it a little to keep the arms less engaged, that's fine. Now lower all the way, push back child's pose. Crawl your fingertips forward, press back in the hips, take some deep breaths. And then sitting up into rock pose, extend your feet forward. And then bring your feet wide, like 45 degrees-ish. Find your sit bones, pretty even weight distribution here. We want to keep a flex on the feet so the hip flexors are always active. Now take your left hand across towards the right leg. Right hand can just rest next to the leg. Pull your chin forward, pull the belly in. Coming up, right hand reaches for the left leg. Flexing the heels, pull the heart forward. Now coming center, we're going to exhale, twist, inhale, center, exhale, twist. So begin reaching for the right on your exhale, inhale up, exhale left. Feel free to slow your breath down and slow the movement down. And then the next time you come over to the right, hold the right leg with both hands, pressing the left sit bone down. Pull the chin forward, pull the heart towards the leg. Keep a flex on your left foot. Deepen the breath. Up over to the left. Pull your heart forward, pull your chin forward, pressing to the right sit bone. Deepen the breath here. Belly's in towards the spine. So if we completely curl the chin and we drop the head in that way, we lose some of our potential benefit. By reaching the chin forward, now we're engaging in between the shoulder blades, the upper back. Coming up to center, crawl your hands forward, keep a flex on the feet. Doesn't matter how far forward you can go, you're going to your edge and you're going to pull the belly in and you're going to reach your chest forward, chin also reaching forward. You're just engaging the spine. So you're feeling your spine lengthen here. We're not collapsing. And this is one of those postures that the gain is not subtle. When you find more flexibility, it's usually really dramatic. It's not like a subtle experience here. And maybe your hips just never let go. And that's totally fine too. As long as you're finding the stretch where you're at. Reframing the context of yoga as flexibility. Something that happens often in the practice, but not always. And it's actually not always the best thing for us. We don't need to become so flexible. Coming up to center. Now bring the soles of the feet together for butterfly pose. Want to sit up tall, pull your belly, of course. Now interlace the hands, flip the palms up. So it can be kind of intense on the hip flexors. So if you need to put support under the thighs, do so. We want to keep the shoulders down. So if you have two blocks, you could put blocks there. But we're pushing up through the wrist, pulling the shoulders down, pulling the belly, and stretching the spine. Now release the hands, grab the feet. We want a straight spine here. So pull the chin forward, pull the heart forward, pull the belly in. Find that feeling of decompression in the low and mid back. Once you feel that, if you want to keep reaching your chin down towards the feet, you can. Deepening the C curve. If you feel like it's easy for you to get your head to the feet, go for it, but you don't have to. And if you can't get your head to the feet, keep reaching the chin. And honestly, even if you can do that, sometimes this extra engagement has more benefit for the upper back and the neck area. So deepen the breath. Keep the belly in. We want the bandha engagement here. Then that means we're not straining the piriformis. We're getting where we want to be with the stretch. Sitting up. Such an intricate web of muscles. These little subtle engagements help us bypass overstretching one thing, help us get into the other thing. It's like very intricately engaged. So bring your legs straight forward. We're gonna do a double pigeon. So take your right leg up, flexing the foot, and then take your ankle off the thigh so that the foot is off. Now bring your left foot up, and we want to bring the left ankle as close to being under the right knee as possible. So this is a much deeper stretch, actually. And this is how my teacher always has us do it, and I actually like it way more. So from here, this might just feel like enough. Hands can come forward, and you can start to shift your weight towards the front edge of your sit bones. And that could just be your engagement. You don't have to go deeper than that. If you want to bring your elbows down, you can. If you're so flexible, this is the position for your pelvis that's the easiest to go into. Head can come to the floor, arms could be completely forward. Keep your belly in and keep your feet flexed. And then slow the breath down. Really think about slowing your exhale. If your inhale is a count of 4, take your exhale to a count of 6. If you're going a little bit longer on the inhale, take a couple extra seconds on the exhale. So very gently coming up, take your right knee further over the left for a pigeon pose. Now pressing on your ankles, pull the belly, keep your shoulders down, but pull your spine up. So that tailbone tuck is there, belly's in. Just feeling the bandha engagement. So Mula Bandha is the tailbone. Belly in is Julianda Bandha. We want to feel the two bandhas active. And then it's going to change where we're engaging the stretch, making sure it's really targeted. Now, if you want, arms can come straight up, pull the spine, still engaging the bandhas, hinge forward. Maybe you're just shifting your edge to the front of the sit bones. Maybe you can bring the elbows down. Maybe you can keep your arms straight. Maybe you can hook your chin over the knee. Just go to your edge. Keep the belly engaged here. And again, maybe slow your breath. Slow the exhale. Very gently coming up. Extend both legs forward. Connecting to the sit bones. Now we'll go to the opposite side. Left ankle up to the thigh and then take the ankle off the thigh. Now bring your right leg under. And we want to get the ankle as close to being under the knee as possible. Now, maybe shift your weight forward to the edge of the sit bones. You could just hang out here. Bring the hands all the way forward. Start working deeper into the fold. Go to your edge, whatever that means for you. Keep your belly in. And then focus on lengthening the exhale. Very gently coming up. Now take the left knee on top of the right for a shoelace. Press into the ankles to start. Pull your belly like you're trying to tuck the tailbone, and then the tendency always is to bring the shoulders up. Keep the shoulders down. Deepen the breath. Just by finding the bandha engagement that really you're gonna notice what you're feeling, how it changes the stretch around the hips. Much more intense. Now bring your hands straight up. Pull the belly, pull the spine. Start to hinge forward. Coming to your edge. Maybe you can hook the chin over the knee. Deepen your exhale. Keep your belly in. So once you pull the belly here, you're going to feel that constriction, and you're going to start to feel that ujjayi breath automatically start happening in the throat. When you pull the belly with this level of constriction, you hear the wind tunnel in the back of the throat. We want that ujjayi breath, and we want to think about the ribs slowly moving out, slowly moving in. Just think about the rhythm of the ribs. Just focusing there. Very gently coming up. Uncross the legs. Keep the knees bent. Pull the belly. Arms come straight up. Now hinge forward. Grab where you can. This time around, if you feel like you have some extra space, start to walk your feet forward. The goal is to keep your chest connected to the thighs. So maybe just going to that edge. Keep your belly in. Big toes pressing forward. Inhale your arms up, pull the belly, and then release the hands down. Continue with the hips. So here, take your right leg in, so either to the inner thigh or into your half lotus pose. Keep a flex on the left foot, arms come up, hinge forward. Gonna take 3 breaths. Keep your belly pulling towards the spine. Inhale the arms up. Release. Now find half hero. Triangamukha. Arms up. So notice if all of your weight's shifting to the left, start to let some weight gently move towards the right. If you need to take your knee wide, do so. We're going to hinge forward, pull the belly. Deepen the breath. Keep a flex on the left foot. Now, bring your right leg forward, grab the foot. So half happy baby or straighten the leg. Somewhere in between, try to press the femur into the hip socket. And then release. Let's do the opposite side. So left leg comes in, either to the inner thigh or up into your half lotus, arms up, hinge forward, hold the right leg, pull your belly. Inhale, arms up. Bring your leg forward and now into half hero, triangle. Hands up. Notice if you're leaning to the side, shift your weight over. Maybe take your knee a little wider. We're going to hinge forward, hold the belly, deepen the breath. Keep a flex on the right foot. Keep that hip flexor active. It's going to actually create a lot of stability for us here. Very gently coming up. Now bring the left foot forward, knee is bent, grab the foot, half happy baby or extend somewhere in the middle. We're pushing the femur into the hip socket. And now release. We're going to do the same thing. Again, the same 3 moves, just on the right side, and we're going to go faster. So we'll begin with the right foot up, half lotus, fold forward, inhale up, coming into half hero, hands up, fold forward. So moving with awareness, maybe you're not taking as deep a forward folds. Now bring the right leg up. And then again, back into your half lotus, or maybe your foot's pressing into the thigh. We're forward folding, hands up, come into your half hero, hands up, fold forward. Hands up, bring your foot around, extend your foot up, and again, back into your half lotus, forward fold. Inhale up, triangle mukh. Hands up, so we pull the spine, we're not compressing the spine, forward fold, hands up, grab the foot, extend the foot forward, last one on this side, hands up, forward fold, hands up, triangle mukh. Hands up, grab the foot, extend the foot up, and then release. Now to the left. Bring your foot in half lotus or into the thigh, whatever your preference. Fold forward, hands up, triangle mukh. Hands are up, we'll fold forward. Hands up, grab the foot, extend the foot forward. And again, bending the knee, forward fold. Half hero. Grab the foot, extend the leg. And then we'll come back into our bent knee, fold forward. Half hero. Grab the foot, extend the foot forward. And the last round, foot up into the thigh, folding down. Half hero. Now grab the foot, extend the foot. And then release the leg. Come into your butterfly pose. Take a deep breath, sit up tall, pull the belly. And then let's come down to our back. Knees are in the air. And then bring your knees into your chest. Maybe gently press your shins into the forearms. Deepen the stretch in the low back. And then bring your feet flat to the ground. We're going to tuck the tailbone, start to pick up into bridge. Keep your hands as they are, just right next to your side. And then we want to keep a neutral neck. Chin is staying put. If you want to deepen the stretch, push your chest to your chin. Using the inner foot, so press your big toes to the floor. And this activates Mula Bandha. And if we pull our belly here, now we're activating Mula Bandha. Now we've got all three bandhas engaged. The throat lock is automatically happening. Drop down through the hips. Bring your knees to your chest. Take a breath. We're going to do that again. So plant your feet. We're pressing the big toes. Tuck your tailbone, lift up. Keep the hands as they are. Maybe you're pushing your chest a little closer to your chin. Deepen the breath. And then lowering down. Bring your knees to your chest. Give yourself a hug. Then planting your feet, take your right ankle over the left thigh, pull the left leg in. We're keeping a flex on the right foot and pushing the knee towards the short edge of the mat. Pull your belly. Please switch sides. Take the left ankle over the right thigh, pull the right leg in, keep a flex on your left foot, push the left knee forward to the short edge of the mat. Belly pulls towards the spine. Deepen your breath. Take your feet wide, arms out about 45 degrees, palms are down, and then drop the legs towards the right. Bring them up over towards the left, and just gently moving the legs side to side. Bringing the knees straight up. Drop the knees towards center. And if you don't feel the stretch, you can slightly tuck your tailbone and press the outer edges of the feet. Once you feel the stretch, completely relax here. Palms can face up for this part. Open the shoulder. And then full diaphragmatic breath. So feel your belly move on your inhale. Gently heel till your feet in the hip distance. And take your right leg straight up in there. Flex the heel. You want a 90-degree angle on the leg if possible. And then press your low spine into the floor. Keep your belly pulling in towards the ground. And now switch sides, left leg up. Now find happy baby. Bring your hands to the inner edges of your feet, pressing the knees towards the armpit, towards the floor, flexing your heels. Your knees into your chest. Arms to a T. Drop your legs to the right, like over the left shoulder. And then up over to the left, like over the right shoulder. Now coming center, walk your feet forward. Palms are up. Take your feet to the edges of your mat, relaxing through the ankles, let your toes fall out to the side. And then systematically relaxing your body. Notice what's happening in your forehead. Let it soften around your eyes and your ears, totally relaxing. The muscles around your jaw, the tongue is relaxed, your throat softens. Feel your shoulders get heavy. Elbows relax, the wrists relax, all of your fingers relax. Letting your chest relax, the space between the shoulder blades. The entire solar plexus, the navel, relaxing your low spine, the hips soften, the knees relax, the ankles, all of your toes. And as you take a deep breath in, observe your body, notice any deeply held tension you may be holding on to. Really allow that to go on the exhale. Feel your body melting into the floor. Consciously surrendering the weight of your body. That's Shavasana. And then bring your awareness to the feeling behind your eyes. And push your awareness back into the cave behind your eyes. How far back into the cave can you go? Both fingers and toes, bringing your awareness back to your breath. Bring your feet together, knees are together, bending the knees, rock over to your right side. Take some deep breaths here. Breathing up, coming into easy pose, keep your spine long. Little movement as possible. We'll end our class here, bringing our hands together in prayer, bowing our heads towards our heart. And then on our exhale, bowing down to the ground. Inhale, rise. Rub your palms together. Rubbing your hands over your eyes. Holding your cheeks, your ears, your neck. Opening your hands like a little book. And open your eyes, gazing into your palms. Thank you for joining me in today's class. I will see you Friday.